Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Furniture Redesigned by MBM. I'm Mary, and this is the piece we'll be working on today. This is an old vintage table that I picked up from an estate sale. It's in pretty rough condition, but very sturdy. A couple weeks ago, I did some paint blending with metallic paints, and I think I'm going to do the same to this. The top of the table is pretty damaged. It looks like there's some tape and a lot of scuffs and scratches. So I will be sanding that smooth, but I won't be sanding it down to the bare wood. So I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and get started on cleaning this piece up. I have here some Palmolive soap in warm water, and I'm going to use this abrasive pad to scrub the table down. I'm also going to flip my table upside down and make sure I clean underneath the table as well. I also noticed that there are some loose legs, and I will be tightening up the screws in the legs. Now it's time to use fresh water to rinse the soap from the furniture. This is a very important step. You don't want to have suds, as it may affect the way your paint adheres to the furniture. My furniture is clean and dry, and now I'm going to take my 220 grit sandpaper and I am going to sand out all the rough spots as well as scuff up the furniture so that it'll be ready for my primer. When I finish sanding, I use a damp cloth to wipe away all the dust from the piece. Now it's time to tighten the legs on the piece. I use a wrench to tighten the lug nuts that's on the screw. And now I can go ahead and sand down those legs and do the same thing, wipe away all the debris. I also noticed that there wasn't any floor protectors on the bottom of my table, so I just go ahead and add them while my table is upside down. I can go ahead also and start to add my primer. Today I'll be using my Zinsser 123 primer, and of course I'm using the gray because my base coat for this piece will be in the gray. I flipped my table right side up so I can go ahead and prime the top of the table. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry and we'll come back for the next step. Now we're ready for step 3. The primer is dry and we're ready to add this black pearl paint by Modern Masters. I'll be using this older paintbrush to add this paint. I'll be applying it in a dragging, stenciling type motion. If you're wondering what the wet spot is, when I opened the paint, I spilled it on my dress and I just grabbed the damp towel and wiped it off and kept moving. Okay, that's about it for adding the first layer of the black metallic paint. We're going to let it dry and come back with the next layer of paint. Now we're going to the next step, and this is actually step 5. We're going to layer the paint. This is a rose gold metallic paint, and this is going to be the layering color. This is where the blending comes in. The technique is the same as when I did the black. It's that rubbing, stenciling type motion. We cover up most of the black, but the black do shine through, and this is how you get that blending technique. It also has the look of a aged leather top. Very, very pretty. Now here, if you take a look, I slowed down the film so you could take a look at exactly how this process is achieved. I also did 2 end tables a couple of weeks ago, and I decided to make them a set. So I will be marketing all 3 pieces together. I'll have the 2 end tables, and this will be the cocktail table. Let me know what you think I should market them for. The metallic pink paint is dry. Now we want to do a little contouring. I'm going to take my black paintbrush and I just want to go to around all of the curved edges on the table with the black paint. And then I'll take my dry brush and I'll blend it so that there's not any hard curves. The only hard curves I want is just around the edges, but anything other than that, I'll take a dry brush and blend it in while the paint is still wet. So my table was looking a little plain, so I decided to take my black metallic pearl paint and add stripes on the table. So here I have my masking tape. I am going to mask off the portion that I want to draw the stripe on. I'm going to start 1 inch in from the outside corner of the table. I'll lay 3 rows side by side. Once that is done, I'll pull the center piece of tape away. And then I'll do the same thing on the other end. I'll make my measurements again on both ends to ensure that I have 1 inch from the outer side of the table. Now I'm ready to paint the stripe. I'll use that same tapping motion or stenciling motion to add the black paint to the table. Then I'll go ahead and repeat the process on the other end of the table. I'm going to go ahead, let the black paint dry, and then I'll repeat the process because we don't want any of the champagne gold to peek through. I'm now adding my second layer of black paint to the top of the table. And then we're going to pull off the tape before the paint dries. It's time for the fun stuff. Pulling the tape away. Look at those crisp lines. Now it's time to add my top coat. I'm using Vervain in a satin finish, and I'm using my sponge applicator to apply it. I'm going to let this dry for 2 hours, apply a second coat, and we'll be back for the reveal. I placed the table in my living room so you can get an idea of how it looks. Absolutely beautiful. If you're out there watching and you're not a part of the Furniture Redesigned by MBM family, now is the time to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget the notification bell so you don't miss my future videos. And here's a closer look at the side tables that I created to match. I'll leave a link to them in the description box below. I do hope you truly enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a wonderful day.